Umapela naman si Tourism Secretary Wanda kay Vice President Robredo at sa media na kung maaari ay bawasan ang pagtalakay sa extrajudicial killings. Ayon sa kalihim, napakahirap mang-engganyo ng mga turista dahil sa issue. Sa tuwing pumupunta raw siya sa ibang bansa ay ito ang laging tanong sa kanya.
Nahihirapan kaming isel ang Philippines. So I hope we could, kung pwede, and even this not only refer to Lenny, VP Lenny, but also to the media to please medyo i-tone down natin yung extrajudicial killing.
Sinabi ito ni Teo sa press conference sa Bangkok, Thailand, kasabay ng official visit doon ng Pangulo. Matatanda ang kasama sa mga pinirmahan ni na Pangulong Duterte at Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha ang kasunduan sa turismo. Lumagda rin sila sa kasunduan sa larangan ng agham at teknolohiya at agrikultura.
Imbis na paghinay-hinay sa pagbabalita tungkol sa mga pagpatay, mas dapat daw ipanawagan ang pagtigil sa extrajudicial killings. Ito ang sinabi ni United Nations Special Rapporteur Agnes Callamard. Kaugnay ito ng pahayag ni Tourism Secretary Wanda na nakakasira sa imahe ng bansa ang labis na pagbabalita tungkol sa mga patayan. Ayon kay Callamard, imbis na media ang pagtuunan ng pansin ni Teo, dapat manawagan ito sa gobyerno at sa pulisya kaugnay ng mga pagpatay. Hiniling kamagkailan ni Teo sa media at kay VP Robredo na maghinay-hinay sa pag-uulat ng extrajudicial killings dahil nahihirapan daw siyang ibenta ang turismo sa bansa. Nagkahanap naman ng kakampi si Teo kay PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa.
For me to be able to conduct my investigation in the Philippines, I need the government to lift the three conditions that it has imposed on that mission, including taking an oath, including a public debate with the President. I have clearly explained on a multiple of occasions why those conditions are violating the Code of Conduct that was adopted by the Member States of the United Nations, and why those conditions are also going against the spirit and the principles of an investigation, including the respect for the victims, the respect for due process, and respect for the rule of law.
Now, Dr. Callamard, notwithstanding that, the President and his spokesperson have tried to debunk your claim that the drug war has generated a culture of impunity among men in uniform. Now, since that has happened, you've got two high-profile deaths. One, the mayor, was a subject of a Senate report, and a Korean national in police hands. Tell us, what are we in right now, the Philippines? Are we on a slippery slope? How bad is it in the Philippines right now?
Let me highlight a couple of things. The first most important aspect is that as far as my mandate is concerned, my work on killings is concerned, the Philippines is standing out as one of the worst places right now outside an armed conflict situation because of the scale of the killing, but also because the human rights crisis is multifold. It is, of course, the alleged extrajudicial executions, it is the impunity, but it's also a crisis related to the health sector, the right to health, it's a crisis related to detention, it's a crisis related to the very high rate of incarcerations and the overcrowdingness of the prisons. So we are looking at a multiple crisis at the moment. So from that standpoint, yes, it is more than a slippery slope. It is a human rights crisis created by the government itself. On the other hand, I take hope in the fact that within civil society, within the political sector, within the church, within the media, there are actors right now who are going to the front line and who are arguing very strongly against this war on drugs that has resulted in some 8,000 killings.
What recourse does the UN have to fulfill your mandate while the stalemate continues as regards your coming to the Philippines and this body count rises?
From the United Nations standpoint, our role is to raise the awareness and the knowledge about what's happening in the Philippines, and to convince the key stakeholders, including the government, that a mission undertaken by by myself and hopefully by others, including the Special Rapporteur on the Right to Health, this investigation will be a very important step in demonstrating the willingness of the government to consider that maybe the war on drugs is not the right way to go. The key thing is for the government and for the President to be open, to listen to what the rest of the world has done so far, to listen to what the experts have found, to listen to what other countries have done, which shows that the war on drugs is the absolute opposite of what the Philippines should be doing at the moment to tackle the problem of drug trafficking and drug addiction. Your President must listen to what we have to say. Your President must stop the war on drugs.
From what you have so far and what you've seen across the board with other experiences, is the President liable from both a constitutional and international law standpoint in terms of murder and incitement to violence? Or is that specifically what you're targeting during an investigation?
So far, I have not investigated what happened when the President was mayor. What I can say from an international human rights standpoint, that of course there is a regime of liability attached to the act and the words of the President. Under international law, incitement to violence is absolutely prohibited. Again, my call to him is that, you know, as President, your statements carry so much weight. You cannot call on anyone to kill anyone else, and you cannot deny people the right to life. Allow me to highlight the fact that what I think is, independently of whether or not the President is inciting, there is currently an atmosphere and a culture around the killings that deny the people being killed their humanity. They are, you know, just portrayed as supposedly drug pushers or drug addicts. They are not fathers, they are not sons, they are not people who had a dream. They just are described as drug addicts, and therefore people who could be killed. This is so dangerous for the nature and for the culture altogether. Let's remember who those individuals are, and let's give them the due process that they are entitled to as a Filipino citizen. I've heard your President talking about we need to kill people in order to protect the youth, but actually the people that are being killed right now are the youth. They are young people, they are poor and young, and if you want to protect them, don't kill them. Offer them alternatives, offer them ways of moving forward with their life and with their dreams.
David Borden, Executive Director of the DRC Net Foundation, Marco Perduca, former member of the Italian Senate, Chito Gascon, Chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights, Alison Smith, Legal Counsel and Director of International Criminal Justice Program, No Peace Without Justice, all the other sponsors of this event, ladies and gentlemen, a good day to all of you. We are heartened that the issue of extrajudicial killings in the Philippines today is being discussed in an event such as this. To know that the international community's eyes are on us and to feel that human rights advocates are watching over our country gives us comfort, courage, and hope. It is already February 2017, and the body count due to drug-related killings keeps growing. We are now looking at some very grim statistics. Since July last year, more than 7,000 people have been killed in summary executions. We agree that our people deserve nothing less than a safe environment, so that anyone can walk the streets safely, whether in daylight or at nighttime. But drug abuse should not be treated as one that can be solved with bullets alone. It must be regarded as it truly is, a complex public health issue, linked intimately with poverty and social inequality. As it is, in some areas in Manila where poverty is rampant, residents tell us that communities are rounded up in places like basketball courts, women separated from men, those with tattoos asked to stand in a corner, their belongings searched. People are told that they didn't have any right to demand for search warrants because they were squatters and did not own the properties on which their houses were built. They told us of the Palit Ulo scheme, which literally means exchange heads, where the wife or husband or relative of a person in a so-called drug list will be taken if the person himself could not be found. Some of those have told us that when there's crime, they normally go to the police. Now they don't know where to turn to. Our people feel both hopeless and helpless, a state of mind that we must all take seriously. This is why the Office of the Vice President supports the rehabilitation of drug dependents. You cannot kill addicts and declare the problem solved. The solution is to design the proper health, education, and psychosocial interventions to prevent further drug use and help them transition into productive members of society. Another challenge is to drum up legal and psychological support for those who may have undergone trauma due to extrajudicial killings. We believe that when the public knows its rights under the Philippine Constitution, when the community is united in this knowledge, our people will be better protected. We must tread carefully on this, however, because in some cases reported to us, those who ask for a search warrant, for instance, have been beaten and physically abused for doing so. We must all demand greater transparency in the government's war on drugs, because this is a major publicly funded campaign. Our leaders must be honest about the basis of the drug war. What exactly is the scope of the drug problem? Why do numbers about the extent of the problem change, as officially reported to the nation by our president, inconsistent? We believe that any campaign against illegal drugs must be founded on integrity. The public must ask why no one is being held accountable. The public must be watchful. Around 500 complaints have been filed at the Commission on Human Rights and recommended to the Department of Justice for filing of cases. But until now, 7 months into the administration's drug war, no information has been filed. On top of this, there's a brewing problem. Death penalty might soon return, and the age of criminal liability might be brought down to 9. We believe this to be a huge mistake because death penalty for non-violent offenses violate UN treaties and international human rights norms. Last Friday, a day before the EDSA People Power Revolution's 31st anniversary, we called the President to task on this. On behalf of the Filipino people whose daily struggles are escalating, we asked him to focus on the war that really matters, the war against poverty, instead of just the war against drugs. In a public statement, we asked him to direct the nation towards respect for rule of law instead of a blatant disregard for it. We asked him to uphold basic human rights enshrined in our Constitution instead of encouraging its abuse. We asked him to be the leader he promised to be and evoke in our people hope and inspiration instead of fear. We told him, do not allow the lies to distort the truth. We also asked the Filipino people to defy brazen incursions on their rights. Our people have fought long for our rights and freedoms. The Filipino nation has come so far since our country's darkest days. We are not about to back down now. Thank you all for listening. May you have a fruitful discussion moving forward. The Office of the Vice President is looking forward to deepening this conversation further with